And welcome back, everyone. It's Ellington here, and we are back with Total War Rome 2. I apologize for the hiatus. Ended up having a lot of computer problems. Come to find out, my operating system corrupted and made life a living hell, and I ended up having to get my computer in to get it fixed. But as you can see, we are back. Now, I am going to forewarn you if there are any kinks or anything like that. I apologize. It's been a while since I've worked with the settings on OBS and stuff. And so there could be a couple things I still need to iron out. So please, if something is really odd or off, please let me know so that I know I need to fix it. Because sometimes I don't know exactly what I'm looking for because I'm not a computer genius because I wish I was. But anyways, as you can see, we are back with the game we all love and love to hate, Rome 2. We are on the settlement of Petra. Petra is a settlement we do not see very often. I find that it's typically pretty low on people's popularity table. But yeah, so we've got a 3 versus 3. This one was sent in by one of my Patreon members, Dairy Farmer. Don't forget that if you guys are interested in supporting my channel in other ways, in the description you will find my Patreon link, but you could also just hit that join button, become a YouTube member. It just helps out with everything, But yeah, so if you guys want to support more, that's how you do it. Otherwise, hit that subscribe button if you're new to the channel. Let's get into some factions for the attackers. We've got Epirus leading the assault here, being commanded by Ozilla. We've got Galatia over here. They're all pretty much right here. Galatia being commanded by T. It's only 4 T's, but whatever. And then finally, Arverni being commanded by it. I'm gonna be honest with you, this name was very long and nigh unto incomprehensible. So, yeah, S block something more, but I gave up on it. It's Arverni. For the defenders, we have got Tylus being commanded by El Diablo. We have got Swaby, or Subi, being commanded by none other than Dairy Farmer himself. And finally, we have got Carthage being commanded by Rifu. Now, this is a pretty standard attack. I'm just going to start off right by one thing I noticed that I'm going to have to fix. I don't have my markers anymore. I'll have to go in and fix that. But this area here is a pretty standard attack spot for Petra. It's a place where the defenders really don't have very good archer setup positions, so the attackers are able to pretty well make a really good all-out assault, and the defenders find it a little bit harder to kind of support their lines. So, pretty standard attack spot. Eventually what you'll see, we'll probably see a little bit of pressure over here a little bit later on, but I think for right now that they are going to be pushing their main focus down this. Sorry about that, I had to take a drink. So we got Syrian archers in for Galatia already. Now this is the thing. The defenders really don't have a whole lot they can do about this, because really the only archer spots they have that they might be able to set up is right here. But you can see they really don't have room to set up archers here. And then, yeah, I mean, that's really, that far left spot is really the only spot. We got Swaby up here with Bloodsworn already. Bloodsworn, I'm a big fan of it. A lot of people give it hell because it has really low armor. Yes, I understand. And in a competitive situation, they are a far harder unit to use. But given that this is a non-in-house fight, I think it's a perfectly fine thing to use. Because a lot of times, a lot of players don't realize, either they just don't know enough about the unit or what, but they don't realize that this unit is so low armor and so they don't end up shooting it. But this unit has extremely good charge bonus of 33. It's really cheap, and if you are able to cycle it out consistently and such, it can be a really good unit for you. Get a lot of kills, honestly. Bang for your buck, it's really solid. But you can see Tyler's really leading off the defense here, leading off with his tribal warriors. Somebody asked in the Dragon Core Discord, which by the way is also linked in the description. Somebody asked in the general chat, like, unit you least like to face or something like that. And my answer was tribal warriors. They are just annoying. They're just way too good for their price. Extremely good unit. That doesn't mean that they're unbeatable. Everybody thinks that they're completely and totally unbeatable, yada, yada, yada. They're not unbeatable, but they're extremely hard to go up against. But, yeah, that's my answer. Now, Carthage over here, cycling out some Gallic warriors for some Italian swordsmen. One of the many mercenary units of the Carthaginians, excuse me. I don't know why I said saying Iberians. Mercenary units for Carthage are really its bread and butter, right? That's famously how Hannibal, made his army to invade Rome, was out of mercenaries from Iberia and from Gaul, so on and so forth. And I think that's why, I've done a ranking of, like, in my opinion, the best DLCs ranked, and I kind of ranked them, and I honestly have the Caesar and Gaul, or not Caesar and Gaul, because Caesar Gaul is really high too, but the Hannibal at the Gates DLC, I actually have it ranked pretty high, and it's not even just because I'm a huge Lusitani fan, or I think, or that I think like the Scutari for Eravaki are really good. It's honestly because I watch this. I'm going to keep saying Caesar and Gaul. No, the Hannibal at the Gates DLC gives so many mercenary units to so many factions that are really not great without them. So like Carthage, without the Hannibal at the Gates DLC, is honestly just kind of bleh, you know what I mean? It really needs those mercenary units to make up its roster. And that's why I honestly have Hannibal at the Gates ranked, I think 4 or 5 on the list, which is a bit higher, a bit high, I think, in some people's opinion. But I honestly think it's worth it just for those mercenary units. And I'm a huge Lusitani fan, so, that in and of itself has its perks. Look at this shot here. So Carthage over here, Cretan archers shooting over into the sides here, the Celtic warriors and the Galatian swords. But it does look like Galatia's got his mercenary Syrian archers able to shoot back, so that's a good sign. Not much progress made quite yet. Nothing moving to the other side. We've got a pike in, but I personally think this pike was put in here a little too early. You can see it's taken so much damage from range. I think it's from the slinger back here that it just is honestly worthless at this point, because it's a levy pikeman that is just a hair below half health. It's not going to get many kills out of this, because levy pikeman, look at it, 35 base morale. It's not going to go much. Epirus is another faction that benefits a lot from Hannibal at the Gates with, their mercenary units. Right here, you look at the mercenary Etruscan hoplites. Now, we have some really good factions on the field. So Carthage is an upper tier. Galatia is upper tier. Arverni is mid to upper tier. Epirus, I would say, is mid tier. Swaby, I think, is mid to upper tier. Swaby competitively is really good because you can bring a ton of sword masters. Sword masters are a good, high tier unit for their price. And because of Swaby's lack of low tier units, it's not that it lacks, it's that their low tiers units are really hard to use competitively because of Bloodsworn, like we were talking about earlier. But the combination of Swordmasters and something like a Club Levy, which Club Levy have slightly better armor than Bloodsworn, but are still really cheap. They still have javelins. You know, it means that you can go really, really high tier with that faction. So especially when you compare or combine that with a Carthage, which Carthage has really good mid-tier potential with its living infantry, its oh my gosh, I'm blanking. Samurai Warriors, you know, and then even like its Italian swordsmen. But the problem with Carthage is that it really hurts in the upper areas. You know, all it can bring is the mercenary noble fighters, and they can only bring 2 of them. And noble fighters are one of those units that can be tough to justify just because of how squishy they are. So Carthage is one of those things that they have a lot of mid-tier and not very much upper tier. So you combine that with Swaby, which brings a lot of upper tier, and they actually meld very well together. And of course, when you combine that with the backbone of Tylus, you know, you have Tylus as your backbone, and you know, it just is a really, really good combo. Tribal Warriors are just a good unit. Let's see, what do we got? 87 kills, 27, but this one's pretty new. Celtics at 93. Galatians 82. And then you can see some chosen swords from Arverni beginning to get into the mix of things. Yes. Probably see a switch out. Nope, he's just going straight in. Typically, what you want to see is you want to see that Galatian sword pull as that chosen sword charges in. It gives you a little bit better impact on the charge. Otherwise, as you can see, the chosen sword just falls into, you know, runs into the back of its own men. Libyan infantry. Oh, you see that one guy just get annihilated? Cheese and crackers. Just kind of hovering over the battlefield a little bit. You can see where the main combat has been taking place. Now we got Gallic Hunters in. Gallic Hunters now focusing the Bloodsworn, which is probably the right call there. Those Bloodsworn, if they're able to support this Tribal Warrior and cycle with the 2, that Chosen Sword's just going to get chewed to pieces. Because I guarantee that that Bloodsworn on every charge would probably get at least 25 kills, just on the charge. And then, you know, give them a little bit of combat, 30, 40, 50 kills. So then you switch them back with the Tribal Warriors again, so on and so forth. You know, clean, what is it, wash, rinse, repeat, or something like that. Whatever that saying is. Tribal's still going strong here. This is a slightly fresher unit. You can see this is the one that was in combat earlier. It really doesn't look like they have any plans of going to this side. By the way, I forgot to say early on, the attackers lost their 1 artillery, which is honestly a huge penalty to them, because Petra is one of those settlements that it's so cramped that artillery is really, really useful on this settlement because it's really hard for the defenders to hide from it. Well, now that the attackers have no artillery, the defenders can stack up as much as they want to defend these lanes. Because think about this. Look at this lane specifically. That lane right there, if you look at it. So if we just look right here from the tactical perspective, here's the ballista. You have almost a straight shot down this lane, right? So they could do so much damage here. They could do a ton of damage here because of how stacked up this stuff is. So it would mean that the defenders would not be able to just layer up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units all in a row ready to support this one area, because the artillery would shred them to pieces. But as you can see, that is not happening. And they don't have another artillery that crew can go get on either. They only brought the one artillery. Then we got shield wall coming up, Libyan infantry. Syrian archers have moved back into the settlement. Looks like they may try, I don't know. Looks like they're watching this area over here, trying to keep those archers at bay. Those Cretans are 77, the Syrians 64, 72. Where's their third Syrian? Oh, here we go. It's 37. Cimbri bow or longbow hunters. Look at that. Mr. Terry Farmer going with the longbow hunters. Yes. Now a little bit of a kill box here. So you can see they're defending on this side. I almost wonder if they might just fall back behind this breach, just because then they don't have to worry. Because what I would do is the attackers, as I'm going here, I would also push units over to this breach to start exposing the back end of this defense. For the old father! More longbow hunters. And they're shooting over at the Chosen Sword. That Chosen Sword is well and truly screwed. 137 kills, though, so he's done pretty good. We got more Etruscan hoplites, more Galatians. Now, Tylus with the Tribal Warriors goes shield wall here. Interesting. He could be throwing javies right now. Maybe he just doesn't want to waste the javelins on the Galatian swords. That's probably more the case. Bloodswarm backing up the Levy Freeman. Levy Freeman is not going to last very long. It's not a great unit. It's a decent low tier unit, but it's definitely overpowered and outmatched by the mercenary Samnite warrior. Bloodsworn just waiting to go in. Oh, here we go. Gallic Hunters coming over to the right. I guess to the left for the attackers. And they're bringing their cav over to support it just in case any sneaky cav tries to come grab them. And here, look at this. They're bringing the big guns. Arverni taking the Oath Sworn and bringing them over to this side. So they are going to come and try to push this, push this back area. And they're not coming with lightweight stuff. They are bringing Oath Sworn over to crack this like an egg. There we go. There's the... Now here's the problem with hoplites. This Etruscan hoplite just sitting here getting annihilated by jabbies. But they can't do anything about it because they don't have javelins themselves. So this tribal warrior just gets to sit there and pew, 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 pew. Yes, that is the sound that they make. This is Star Wars. I wonder if there's a Rome 2 mod that makes missiles sound like lasers. Galatian swords charging into some Samnite warriors. Chosen swords in the middle, taking on two sword masters. Interesting. Then you got Celtic slingers, excuse me, getting shot by Gallic hunters. Yeah, and this defense is disappearing. And I think he knows it. You know, he knows that he can't hold this and the breach. So I don't think he has any plans to commit anything else. 96 kills on the Bloodsworn, not bad at all. Almost a chef. And if the attackers really wanted to, they could, come over and they could continue to expose the back end of this defense here. All they have to do is take one unit over to the Tortoise and boom, knock down a wall. And once again, the defenders are in the same situation, having to fall back their units again. It would lose them the tower as well. As you can see, the tower here is getting some just basic free kills on the tribal warriors here. You can see the range on the tower is sitting about right here. 81 kills on the Swordmaster. And honestly, he's about to chevron as well. That's really good kills. Not even 100 kills, and he's sitting at almost a chevron. And there it is. 93 kills with chevron. Nicely done. Typically, one chevron is the equal to about 500 gold worth of kills. So, obviously, the more expensive the unit is that you're killing, the quicker you're going to gain the chevrons. But the lower the expense of the unit you're killing, the more kills you need. So, like Levy Freeman, Levy Freeman are 210 gold. So it takes, more than 2 units to kill. It's like 2.5 Levy Freeman that you need to kill to get 1 chevron out of them. So, once again, 93 kills for 1 chevron is pretty good, man. That's kind of my rule of thumb, is if you get 100 kills and get a chevron, you did pretty damn good. Here we go. Look, it does not look like they're going to try and push, and expose the back end of that defense again. Looks like they're just going to go straight into it here. And it looks like they're just going to go and give it to him. And honestly, that's probably the right play here. You're really not gaining a whole lot by holding this. I guess you keep it, neutralized for a tiny bit longer. But in all reality, I don't think it's that worth it. Swaby moving all of his troops over here. He is fully stacking up on this area. On the left, we have Carthage pretty much holding down the fort. Mercenary Samnite warriors still taking on the Celtic warriors. Yes, indubitably. General's bodyguard. Let's see, he brought the strategist general. Swaby brings the strategist general. And look at that. People are doing so good. Strategist general is really just really hard to not bring. The second wind ability, the ability to make your unit just completely and totally refreshed for free, and to be able to continuously do that throughout the battle, obviously with the recharge rate, that it's just really hard to beat. Given that exhaustion has such a heavy, toll in this game, it's just such a good ability. Oh, dry fire, Carthage. No, charge in. There you go. No, he pulled out. They're going to get a really good chunk of free kills there because... Royal Peltits are a really solid unit. I'm a big fan. 62 melee attack is just stupid. To compare, look at the Swordmaster, 43. But the Swordmaster obviously has better weapon damage. The Royal Peltits is only 36, while the Swordmaster has 40. Then let's see, where's an Oathsworn we can also compare to? So Oathsworn 48 to 45. Thorough Spears taking on some tribal warriors down the center. 117 kills on the tribals. Got some Etruscan hoplites, but here comes an Oathsworn from Arverni. Let's see, do we have a counter Oathsworn from Tylus? It does not look like it. Wonder how many Oathsworn does Tylus have? I only see his general at the moment. That might be the only Oathsworn he brought. Now, Arverni has 3? I think that's what I remember seeing. Where were they? 1, 2... Yeah, so 3 including his general is what... Or is it even 4? 4 including his general. Alright, so what they've done is they've gone for the kill box option back here. This area is a bit tough to defend because it's a very broad street, right? So it requires like 2 units to hold this, so you might as well kill box it like they're doing. It's a good call. Exposes the backs to the angles, right? So you could see longbow hunters shooting into the back of the Samnites, and then Celtic slingers shooting into the back of the Oathsworn. They just need to be careful because you got the Syrian archers from Galatia trying to push them back. Syrians might be getting low, though. 118 kills, 126, and 86. So they might be getting a bit low on ammo. Tribal Warriors. 133, 138, or 59, excuse me, but 138 men left. Throw Spear's holding out for a moment, but the Tribals are definitely going to get the better of that in the end. Down left center. Oh, Tribal Warrior getting snuck by. Galatian Sword sneaking right around him. Fill the gap! Tylus is probably focusing over here and not seeing what's going on, so Carthage definitely needs to get in on that. Carthage definitely has a plethora of units back here, so it's not a huge deal. You'd see it sure looks like they basically have just kind of given up on this area. They have some Galatian legionaries that they could push with, but they may just be holding. It looks to me like they are focusing fully over here, which, honestly, I don't know that's a bad idea, because the point is here. So all of this over here may not be that useful to the attackers. If they could pressure this, it's going to force Carthage to give up anyways. So, I think that's what they're planning. Now, the thing about this area where I was talking about how there's a lot of space, that does honestly kind of play into the hands of Swaby here, because Swaby has those really high octane, high movement units like the Bloodsworns and Swordmasters, right? Swordmasters 32 charge bonus as well, right? So having all this room to maneuver and charge and and cycle charge, is really beneficial to Swaby. 65 kills on the Galatian Legionaries. Oathsworn at 47. 32 on this Galatian Legionary, and they've got beat up. Ooh, Syrians now getting shot by the longbow hunters. Longbow hunters at 49 kills, 36 kills. Another Oathsworn coming in because the Syrians are kind of getting caught with their pants down here. They're just standing there, and Swaby is going on the counter attack. Couple Bloodsworn. Hold on. Bloodsworn 196 kills with 2 chevrons. Excelente. Swordmasters 160 with 1 chevron. I wonder, are we going to get anything on... Okay, so Galatia is attacking over on the right. So Galatia here, Galatian Legionaries charging on some mercenary Samnite warriors. But now he's pulling back. I wonder if he saw the Cretan making its way over there. This Cretan, there's no way he has ammo. 292 kills. Oh my god. 292 kills and he still has ammo. But he's got to be low. He has to be so low on ammo. I bet you he maybe has like a volley or 2 left. Nothing down the center left. But center right, we continue to have an aggressive action here. Oathsworn in against, I think, 2 tribals, 1.5 tribals, something like that. It's honestly might as well be 1. 73 and 14, it makes like half. But Epirus is in now with his Cretans, and they're actually doing quite a bit of work here. Look at that, 112, 100, 85. Right now they're shooting at the mercenary Balearics of Carthage. Swaby over here is making short work of this. Right now, because of all this room, he's got 4-on-1 versus this Oathsworn. Get a couple screenshots there. Syrians, look at that. 245 kills, but only 1 chevron. Where's the rest of them? 120, and maybe the other one got killed. Yeah, I think the 3rd Syrian might have been killed. Whap, 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 whap. Now, the thing is, there are still a lot of Galatian Legionaries. Galatian Legionaries are so good, man. Arguably the best mid-tier infantry in the game. Top 3 for me in no particular order. And I'm sure somebody's gonna tell me what the order is, but I'm putting them in no particular order because I think when you are ranking things in the top 3, top 5, I would say, there's an argument that can be made for every single one of them as to why they are number 1. That is what makes them the top 3, right? The top 3 are usually something. So if you look at most rankings, your top 5 of something are usually, regardless of who you talk to, are usually the same 5 things or people or whatever you're ranking. But a lot of times they just vary in what order they go in. So, my top 3, no particular order: Glacial Legionaries, Sword Followers, and Tribal Warriors. They are, the 3 of them are just great units. Just excellent, man. And, right now we're seeing 2 of the best on the field. Chosen Swords, I don't think, are up there, personally. They're outmatched by most other Barbarian infantry, so even though they're better than some of the Hellenic infantry, they're not quite as good as most of the other Barbarian infantry, which Barbarian infantry typically is a bit better than the Hellenic infantry, stuff like that. Now over here, this is getting a little bit dicey because really all you've got is one. Might as well just be one tribal warrior in this combat at the moment. Carthage is probably going to have to begin considering falling back towards the capture point here. Yeah, this is a bit dicey in the middle. I guess we do have some sword masters, coming from Swaby, so that should shore it up. And that should give time for Carthage to hold this area, which is good. That means that they're holding pieces of the attackers that could be focusing in other places. They're holding them here, because otherwise Carthage would be able to go on a counterattack and try to buckle in on the back end of the attackers, and the attackers don't want to do that. Now this side is going nowhere. I think that Swaby and the bits of Carthage over here really put down this attack over here. So I don't see them trying to make the attack on this side anymore. I mean, I could be proved wrong right here by Epirus. He's got some, units moving, but yeah, I don't think so. But now we got Swordmasters getting shot by the Gallic Hunters of Arverni. I don't know what that brain fart was, but... So yeah, these Swordmasters taking a bit of damage, and it is sword side shots, so they're going to take a bit more damage than you really want to see. So yeah, you can see he's adjusting that now. Could have a possible attempted horse break here. We've got 2 units of cavalry. We got the heavy horse and the noble horse general. Noble horse general is getting roasted by longbow hunters, though, and he's just sitting there taking it. I don't think he realizes it's happening. Oh man, that hurts. Don't do it. Don't do it, Galatia. It's a terrible idea. This is going to go terribly. You're just going to get jacked. Come on. I don't think they're going to get it. I think he got out just in time. Swordmaster, 215 kills. Nicely done. And he may not even have javelins. Bloodsworn, 248. 392 on the Swordmasters. Holy shnikes. Yeah, Swaby just took this entire side and said, get the fuck out. Sorry. I shouldn't cuss, but I don't really see a better term to use in that situation. Galatian Legionnaires taking on some Samnite warriors, but the Galatian Legionnaires are also getting shot by some Cretan archers, so that could be a bit of a problem. Cretan archers all the way on the other side up to 314. And they still have ammo! Only one chevron, though. I don't know what the Cretans for Empress are doing running up. I think they... Do they have an attack command? But yeah, okay, so they're just moving up to get this. Now we've got Etruscan hoplites moving into this combat. 204 on the Oathsworn General for Arverni. 25, but he's fresh for Tylus. Etruscan hoplites looks like they just got into combat. Where did the... Oh, it's okay. It's right here. 23 kills, 47 kills. He brought his general all the way over here. He said, hell no, screw them archers. Oathsworn being pulled out, so maybe the Swordmaster's going to go in? I guess. Riders of Death, is that what they just said? Riders on the Storm. So Libyan infantry going to go in instead. This is a tough area because it's a bit big for a depleted unit to try and hold this. 56 men can't fill this whole area, so they need to be careful, make sure no Galatian Legionaries try to sneak around behind them. Mercenary Scutari now being moved over. They need to be careful not to weaken this too much. If they do too much, the cavalry may be able to actually find a spot through here. But for right now, what they've got should be able to hold this area easily. Oathsworn General for Arverni, 225. Glacial Legionaries, okay. Look like I think they're trying to pull this Libyan infantry out of the gap here. But the Libyans luckily saw it. Dry fire by Galatia. I'm intrigued that Galatia continues to dedicate 2 whole units to this side to not do anything. Just seems like a lot of manpower being wasted in the wrong place. I keep waiting because I feel like that cavalry's going to try and make a break for it. And I know that if it happens, it's going to happen while I'm not looking. Good target. They're shooting the Scutari. Scutari, a really, really good unit, especially given the price of them. They're dirt cheap. They're 620, I think, if I remember right. While... Oh, there it is. There it is. They gonna do it? They gonna do it? How much you want to bet these Samnite orders have Javies? Come on. Come on. Sorry about that. I had to sneeze. Heavy horse looks like they're going to get out of here without losing too much. And now they turned around? I don't remember Heavy Horse having a frenzied charge. What? Since when? I don't ever remember that. The only one that I could think of, I know Mighty Horse for Nervi's got that, but I didn't realize Arverni does. I'm gonna have to look at that. I don't remember seeing that ever. And Frenzy Charge is one of those abilities that is kind of not worth it. It makes you so exhausted that it really kind of hampers you really, really badly. So unless you have like a readily available second wind, which they may do, but I mean, our Galatia's got one right here. But especially if they're not in voice chat, they won't. It's really hard to communicate to somebody to do that, you know, through text or through a ping. You know, to use the chat, you have to sit there and, you know, open the chat, type the message, hit enter, hope they see the chat or open the chat. You know, it's one of those things. And, you know, at that point, you're losing micro time and so on and so forth. Bounce power is dead even. So, you know, I think it's the units of Galatian Legionaries that are still left here that are really propping up the bounce power for the attackers, because, you know, Arverni's pretty much out of this fight, and Epirus only has a bit left. But those Galatian Legionaries, they've got like 3 or 4 healthy Galatian Legionaries still. Now this one getting lured out. So we got the out of ammo Cretan archers on one side, and if they can pin him down, then the general's bodyguard could, you know, get some good charge. But if they don't do that, the Galatian Legionaries are just going to get some good jabbing tosses on the general. This is a decent charge. Looks like they were able to brace up, though. Thing about General's Bodyguard for Carthage and like the Legatus for Rome is that, you know, their biggest weakness is the fact that they're only 40 men. If you made them into an 80-man unit, they're not a bad unit. You know, their stats are actually pretty solid. But as a 40-man unit, they really lack a lot of the charge mass that you need as a cavalry unit. So it really just makes them pretty ineffective in almost any combat. They're pretty good at like chasing down archers and stuff like that, but they do not do super well in like cav v cav fights. Good shield wall, by the way, by Swordmaster. Remember that shield wall is one of your best friends versus cavalry and elephants and chariots. Your other friend versus those things is jabby, 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 jabby. Looks like this Libyan's about to be out here. 66 versus 110. 148 kills, 152 kills. So they're doing pretty well, both of them. Heavy horse from Arverni moving over here. He wants to try and bust through, because he wants to get into these back lines where he can be a real nuisance to the defenders, but he's just not finding anywhere he can get through. And from the... looks like we're getting a Swaby counterattack here. Looks like he's going to come down and maybe deal with the Thorough Spear and then move into the back lines. Bounce power is definitely shifting towards the defender's favor. Really what they just have to do here is they just need to hold this area, keep it under control. You can see that the main point is neutralized because the combat is happening on top of it. So that has neutralized the point, but that doesn't mean anything's happening. The attackers would have to kick all these units off of this area for them to win it that way. So I don't see that happening. Thorough Spear's just getting absolutely blobbed and annihilated. Now this Galatian Legionary is going to be next. Galatian Legionaries are an excellent unit, but it's only 42 men, and he's basically facing a bunch of units that are just going to run over him. Bloodsworn going in first. We'll probably get a switch here by the Swordmasters. Yeah, I think this is... I just don't know that I see the attackers coming back from... Their best bet is right here, and I just don't see it happening. Okay, so they have the tower back under their control, which means it is now firing for them. Or I guess it's not quite yet under their control, but it almost is. Yeah, it is. They were losing it, though. That was what's happening. I was about to say, I was like, wait a minute. Yeah, this is under their control. And now that they fully have it, they can go in and, once again, blast through the Glacial Legionary. And, you know, I don't know that I would suggest going much further than that. I think once you get into this area here, you start exposing yourself to angles from this way, and then the cavalry from over here, and I think that might put them in a bit of a sticky situation. So I think it's probably a good idea what he's doing, pulling back, getting out of the range of the Celtic slingers. He did what he did. He killed 2 more units. So I think you take what you've gained and you pull back. Especially they once again have to be careful of the noble horse here. Cimbri bowwomen have spears, but the longbow hunters only have swords.
Get your shields up.
Yeah, good call, shield wall. 427 on the sword masters.
Get out! All commanding now! Cut the kill!
Just kind of surveying things here. Those horsemen are trying so hard to find a place that they can get through and just be a nuisance, but I really, even if they do, I think it's a bit too little too late at this point. You can see the time counting down here. Number 1, time is running out. Number 2, time is running out. Literally the only reason I know that song is the movie SWAT. I don't know if you guys have seen that with Colin Farrell and Samuel L. Jackson's in it, but they play SWAT members or something like that. And that plays during their test where they have to do the test of where they have to board the plane and find all the insurgents and stuff like that. Good movie. It's a good movie. I think they made a show for it too, but I never watched it. Yeah, they're going for the kill stroke now. The killing blow. They finally gave up the other area, which I think is fair. So they are opening up a bit of, room for that cavalry to run around, but General's bodyguard for Carthage is still back here. He needs to get the GTFO. Not sure why Carthage is keeping a Scutari out here. You might as well just pull back behind the Swordmaster. Royal Peltis General for Epirus, 206 kills. Nicely done. Now you can see longbow hunters with the little bit of ammo that they've got now getting good back shots into the attackers. But I think that we could safely say that that is the end of this battle. A hard-fought battle. I mean, there's really not a whole lot left. The defenders are definitely, they definitely have some strength left, but it's not much, man. Swaby's probably the healthiest left. Carthage has a couple of units. Tylus is pretty much out of this fight. But a good fight. Very, very well done. Look at the Swordmaster just racking up kills. So 1 Galatian Legionary gone. Army losses. So it's basically, yeah, so it's just the Galatian. He's going to go off this way and start getting into the back here.
Get running!
But I think that is going to be it. Noble Horse, 48, 49, 50. He's getting a couple kills, but that is the end. All right, so let's start off for the defenders. We have Carthage, Rifu, 2,374 kills. Look at the archer, the Cretan, 320. Nicely done. His infantry doing pretty solid, 205, 243. El Diablo with Tylus, 1905. Kind of taking the brunt of that defense there. 200 kills, 188. And finally, for the defenders, Dairy Farmer, 2,643 kills as Swaby. And that's also the most kills in the game. Look at the Sword Masters just killing it, man. Literally. Oh, my Lanta. Look at all those chevrons. Now, for the attackers, we got Arverni with the name that is just unpronounceable. 2,154 kills, so leading the attackers. Oathsworn doing pretty good there. Chosen Swords, they did okay. 228 on a Celtic though. T as Galatia with 1963. The Glacial Legionaries, I mean, doing pretty solid, but also I've seen a little bit better out of Glacial Legionaries for sure, especially, you know, the 51s and 75s is not great. His archers did pretty solid, 245 on that one. Ozilla as Epirus with 1937. 209 kills on the Royal Peltis General. Overall, just kind of did pretty, pretty decent. Nothing too crazy. Levy Pikeman with 0 kills. That's painful. Well, that is going to be it for today's battle. Thank you guys so much for joining it. I am glad to be back, glad that my computer's fixed, and glad to get back into getting videos out for you guys to enjoy. So thank you guys so much for joining. Don't forget that if you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, and we will see you guys next time.